What? Ladies and gentlemen, Wayfarers is back. Episode 22, which actually falls upon a very auspicious day. It is Mendax's birthday. Happy birthday, Mendax! You're the best. Clap, clap, clap. So, last time, the Wayfarers actually got to catch their breath. They had fought through so many towers, so many evils, so many pumpkins and candies and so on and so forth, that they met the very wizened wizard, the teacher of Nigel himself. And we learned of a very dangerous creature called a witch who had been, a lich. Sorry, I mix those up sometimes. Witches have hats, liches have hats too. I don't know the difference. Anyways, they found out there's a lich running amok, and the Wayfarers have been tasked with finding its essence in a land far to the north. We begin this episode of Wayfarers.
Yes, it is indeed Ash's birthday. Happy birthday, Ash. Did you do anything fun or have anything specific happen today?
It was a shit day in D&D, except
no.
excellent cake. I'll post pictures of it in Neuro's D&D, but it's a cake based off of our Wayfarers campaign, and I'm quite obsessed with it. We are a bunch of fairy figurines that have been repainted, and one of them has been tarred and feathered. So,
now,
oh my god! I thought that was a
Nigel
tree. I was looking at that picture. I thought that was a tree at first.
No, that's definitely Khaal. And then there's an amalgamation of a hot elf ghost babe and a hot elf key god, which became a hot fairy key holding babe next to a door portal.
Well, I hope that your birthday takes a severe turn for the better. And sorry to hear it's not been super fun, but we are here back.
Literally just be trying to get good rolls out of you. Like,
no, I am, if anything, on birthdays, extra cruel and unusually evil to my players. But we'll see. We'll see how Ash gets along, and Mendax finds her way through the land of Tolmarok. So,
I had a question.
Yes.
If it's her birthday, does that mean she gets to use a birthday die that has a 20 on every side?
A birthday die?
Yes.
Ooh. I could be persuaded to allow for a singular roll of the auspicious birthday die. I think that could be fair, I suppose, if Nigel and Khaal think that Mendax has been so deserving. If that's their present to Mendax, then sure.
I just heard that was a thing some people have happened to them. They just get lucky on their birthday. Other people, they can never be wrong on their birthday. That's another one. And then another one is you can have whatever snacks that you want.
Sounds like a pretty cool birthday to me.
Yes.
Yes. All right, Mendax, we'll give you a 20 whenever you want to use it on one of your rolls. How about that? Happy birthday. We're so generous here at Wayfarers.
You are a generous god of a DM.
Okay, so you guys left off. You had just made it to the Lonely Spire, which is the home and not birthplace, but home of Master Nivix and Nigel. So you guys have made it back after your a bit of a dubious encounter with a minor deity or force of nature that controls every door in the world, but through one way or another, through gritting your teeth, you guys managed to persuade him to allow you to go through that door and wind up at the tower. And there is where you learned the true purpose and meaning behind the rings that you're all kind of cursed to wear. And they are a device in order to contain a specific evil entity, a lich that has its sort of parts of its soul have seeped out of its containment. And you now need to hunt this down, track it down, kill whatever host it's clung to, essentially, and absorb that soul into your guys' rings and put it back into the coffin so that it can be sealed again and the land can be safe for another millennia. Yes, Khaal,
I did want to note that it was quite a gesture that Master Nivix even sacrificed some of his own fingers to give us these rings. I was a bit impressed by that. I was just taken aback going from this door elf person who was a bit of an asshole. It was rustling me to no end. And then we get to Master Nivix, and he seems to have his shit together, so I'm looking forward to working with him. It's a noble task.
Yes, Master Nivix is, he kind of doesn't even see that that's something to be appreciated. He just kind of sees that as a necessary thing. He had to do it. He doesn't really feel like he's being altruistic. It's more so that that's his lot in life. That's his responsibility. That's his job. Of course, he would sacrifice whatever would be necessary in order to contain and protect the world.
Yeah, he's a
essentially.
professional wizard.
He is indeed a professional wizard. Yeah. So yeah, you guys did make it through, and you came upon Nivix, met him. You got to chat with him for a while. He again disclosed not the secrets of the rings necessarily, but their purpose. And you guys got to see this sort of obsidian, almost onyx type sarcophagus. Almost looks like glass-like in nature, and the kind of the crack that's in the back of it, so that some of that essence, was able to escape. But you guys, at the end of the last episode, I believe Nigel led you all to appropriate quarters where you could sleep and rest for the night, as you had just come off of the Dark Tower, where you guys fought and destroyed many an orc and entity of evil. So you're all pretty tired. You really haven't had too much rest in the last day at all. So yeah, we can just pick it up there. Was there anything you guys wanted to do before you go to sleep? I think you had some food, you washed up, and you carved some rude things in the back of a door that was in a cupboard, because you do not like my door deity very much.
I tried
But
to
anything
break
else
the door.
you'd like to do? You try to break the door?
I
did.
I did. It didn't
yes,
work.
that's right. It didn't work. That's right.
No.
You were not hot on the rolls last time.
I was far past the point of exhaustion, thank you very much.
That's true. But anything else? Are there any other last things or questions before we get started on today's segment of the adventure?
I would like to get out my diary and write upon it, but just as I'm about to write fuck doors, I fall asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
How much do you write then? Is it just like
No, it's like I get the implement, the pen, some kind of quill pen probably. Get the pen, go to the parchment, and just as I'm deciding what kind of style I want to write, I fall asleep.
Knocked out.
Yes.
Okay, we'll pick it up there. So you all are managed to rest up, and it is quite a deep sleep. You are all resting fairly well and peacefully. Nigel, you especially, being back home in familiar surroundings, you feel very comfortable, and you have a very restful and deep sleep for the first time in probably months. Though you have certainly slept well in other towns, you've always had a kind of hint of uncertainty as you're in foreign places and you don't really know anyone. But now you're home and you rest up well. Khaal and Mendax, you two sleep well too. You're not as a stranger to sleeping out in the land, so being in an especially safe area, possibly the safest area in the entire country, you feel like you can just let your guard down basically completely and get a good night's sleep. Nigel, you are the first to wake up. Your compatriots and companions are still asleep in their beds. There is no particular... You guys never set a time that you were going to leave. The kind of where it was left out was soon. Master Nivix did say he had a few things he was going to check in with and try to see what he could rustle together for your guys' journey. But you awake first. What would you like to do?
Back in the old homestead. Well, I think the most fitting thing is I would absolutely start reading, so I think I will kind of rummage through my books and start trying to read anything I can about the far north, the far northwest, and the frozen lands, and see if I can read up anything about the peoples or the creatures up there, and get some history or some kind of flora and fauna reading on what the environment's going to be like.
Okay, that is a fantastic thing to do. I think that's perfect. You wake up and slowly but surely, kind of get dressed. You even fix yourself a bit of, some bread, maybe some cheese and some butter, so that you can sit down in the library for a while and return to the books that you had taken with you for reading, as you've already finished them. Grab some new ones and read up on your journey to Dagger Shelf, which is in the far north. On your way to the library, you kind of, again, are hit with that wave of nostalgia and reminisce about your time that you spent here at home. Not much has really changed. The paintings are the same. The various random, almost loose magical enchantments or creatures, even, rats that have two heads. You guys encountered a spider made entirely of silverware. Even that, to some degree, feels very comforting to you. You feel at home. You're at peace. And you kind of realize how much you've actually missed being home. You've had to sort of steel yourself in your adventure for the past year, and really just kind of buckled down underneath the weight of journey and really just survival. You've been out there on your own. Yes, you've met two fantastic people, but at the same time, they are taking care of themselves too. And you've succeeded very well in your adventures. As you're walking along one of the hallways and you move up to the library to sit down, you feel something out of place. At the end of the hall, kind of tucked away even, there is a door that has not been there before. This is a new door added to the tower that you're unfamiliar with. And you boast that you know, at least when you left, very, very well the layout of the tower.
How peculiar. And I'm going to approach the door and give it a sniff. Does it smell like anything?
Yeah, so you approach the door and you can see from the dust on the ground and on the handle that the door hasn't been opened for some time. It looks like the sort of dust that's settled there would indicate that it's been out of use for a while. You give it a good sniff and you detect the unmistakable hint of dust and a little whiff of magic at the end. There's almost this little bit of electricity in the air whenever something has had an encounter with magic that sort of permanently stains whatever material has, it was used on.
Well, suddenly being, back in the home which I was raised in, I am immediately in a little bit of an internal battle here, like a child with a cookie jar. My curiosity's piqued, but at the same time, I've been, punished in all sorts of ways for walking in parts of the tower that I wasn't supposed to. And I've had all sorts of ailments when I've tinkered with things that I probably shouldn't have looked at. But, I've traveled a long way. I've grown. I know a lot more about the world, and I think I can handle myself. I'm sure the master would have told me if there was a good reason for me to stay out of here. So I'm going to try the door and see if I can get in.
Yeah, absolutely. You actually would know that the forbidden rooms or areas of the tower are marked with specific symbols that you are all too familiar with, as you have barged in past those many a time. This door does not have any of those telltale symbols that forbid anyone from entry, or have any sort of enchantment like that you can see. So you try the door. It is open, and it opens into a dark room. There's no windows in there, and the only light is coming in from the hallway. It's kind of shining in rays as the dust and yeah, basically dust and particles you can see kind of floating through the air as you've kicked it up through opening the door inwards.
All right. Well, and is it? I'll go in and investigate and start taking a look around.
Absolutely. You walk in, and as you do so, torches on the sides of the room light instantly. That's not too strange to you, but it does surprise you for a moment. But then you remember that this is Master Nivek's tower. This is the closest thing we have to clap on, clap off lights in the country here. So he has enchanted torches that detect when anybody enters the room and will light up so that he doesn't have to burden himself with going around with flint steel or whatever, or expending any magic himself. And it illuminates the entirety of the room. It's a simple room. It's probably about, we'll say, it's actually fairly large now that I'm thinking of it. It's about 25 by 20 feet across. So it's a fairly large room. And there's only one thing in the room, and it takes up a large portion of it from the center. It is a sort of giant metallic apparatus. You're unfamiliar with its design, though. It almost looks like a blend of what we would consider very early science and what you would recognize as magic. There are metallic copper and silver bands that are in orb-like kind of setups that are all sort of contained in this center sort of apparatus. It's a very strange looking thing. You're not quite sure what its function is. You're not quite sure what its purpose is either. To the right and to the left side of it as well, there are similar apparatuses. They're essentially like, think of them as almost like a square box that sits on the ground, and then on that it houses this sort of globe of metal. On the ground, laid in what looks to be gold. You're not quite sure if it's real gold, but it is a circle used for some sort of ritual. Go ahead and give me an Arcana roll.
All right. Rolled a 15, and my Arcana bonus is 5, so 20.
Yeah, you obviously are extremely knowledgeable in the ways of magic, and your travels have only helped you become even more so. You can tell that this circle, or these circles rather, there are 3 of them, sort of one in front of the center, and then 2 to the right and the left, and they all kind of interconnect. You can tell that these are used for enchanting some kind of object. Whether that was used in the creation of your rings, whether that's used for something else, you're not entirely sure. There's a lot of advanced and sophisticated sort of, you can almost think of it like mathematical formulas, right, that are written, and that's the way that these ritual circles are put together, that you don't fully understand. You could probably understand it, but it would take you a good while, and probably references to a lot of different books and notes in order to figure out exactly the purpose of what this sort of device and apparatus in these circles are and what they have in common with each other. At that moment, you actually hear not a yell from Master Nivek. He's looking for you. Nigel, are you awake? Where are you?
I'm in here, Master.
And he'll respond, "Come to the library. I need to speak with you."
Well, taking one last very curious look around the room, I'll walk off and go see the Master.
Okay, sounds good. I will say this: you're not incredibly surprised that there's something you don't understand. There's many rooms that are simply for whatever his Master Nivek's experiments are for. He started many projects and left them halfway through. This very well could be one of those projects. It could very well be nothing, or it could just be one of the experiments he's tried to do along the way. But regardless, you head up to the library, and you see him again in the center, with the circle that he was working on last night now completed. The writing and the inscriptions in it are done. He was writing it in sort of like a chalk substance. It looks like it was a little bit more permanent though than chalk, but it's essentially, you can think of it like the same material. And he's now sort of, I don't know what the best word for it would be, but laminated it so that the inscription doesn't fade away. It's something you're familiar with ritual circles where people want them to stay for a very long time. And in the center, once again, is sort of that dreadful looking sarcophagus encased in this blackened onyx. The books have kind of calmed down from last night. Last night, the books were sort of flying everywhere to and fro as if he was actively looking or researching. But now there is very minor amounts of them floating around the room. And you see him taking a rest in one of his favorite chairs by the corner, a book in hand and some sort of drink as well. At his feet, there are 3 satchels.
Master, it's good to see you. It feels good to be back home once again. The sarcophagus here of this creature, hopefully, is not giving you any trouble.
Well, nothing I can't handle, I'm sure. But time does grow short. We should see you off fairly soon. I am glad that you were able to stay here once again. It is good to see that you have made some friends.
Yes, they've been invaluable companions, both saving me many a time and, well, honestly dragging me into a few situations which, at the end, I think we came out stronger, even if they were unnecessarily stupid due to a lack of planning and their impulsive nature. But, well, I've learnt my how to get out of hard situations, and I feel that learning how to adapt has been a valuable lesson while surrounded by such a colorful group of travelers.
Good. I see that the enforced vacation has done you well. Unfortunately, I wish that it wouldn't have come to such a strange twist of fate that I would see you back here, but not for the purpose of being finished with your travel, but for the purpose of aiding me in my adventure. Here, take a look here. I have prepared these bags for you all, and he'll hand one of them to you. Inside, there is some cold weather clothing. It's sort of like fur, like shirts and robes and capes and pants. So it's really, really heavy duty stuff. As you're familiar, even though you haven't done extensive research on the land, that it is cold up there, freezing in fact. And not having the correct clothing would spell disaster for anyone who would try to go up there. In the bag that he has handed you as well, there is a letter that is sealed in wax, and on the front of it, in Master Nivix's handwriting, he has written to the company of the Murky Blackfoot, and underneath that, he's written like, "Attention, Captain Snicklefitz."
Snicklefitz, was it?
Yes, Snicklefitz.
Just wanted to make sure I had that right.
Captain Snicklefitz. Yes, you did.
Captain Snicklefitz. Fantastic.
Yeah. He sees you kind of grab the letter. Ah, yes, your transportation to the frozen north. I'm sure you're familiar. It is detached from the main continent of Tolmarok, and there is no bridge or connection that will allow you to travel by foot or by steed, and therefore you must find boat passage over to the frozen lands. There are very few boats that will actually ferry anybody up that way, as it is quite a dangerous trek, and so few are equipped for the journey. But the Murky Blackfoot Company has done quite a number of jobs for me in the past, and they are renowned across the world for being one of the best smugglers and transporters, if you will. Give me a history check. At this moment, Khaal and Mendax, you all awaken as well.
I got a 6, by the way. Was it history? +5, 11.
Okay. I will get back to that roll. We'll
Yep.
move to Khaal and Mendax real quick. You all awaken. You're each in your own rooms. What would you like to do?
First, I would like to groan because it was a very arduous quest that we were set upon without a very satisfying ending, in the sense that we didn't get to turn in the key to... Yes, that's very funny. We didn't get to give the key back to Stumpy, which was a bummer. So I'm feeling a little bit down about that, but on the other side, we did succeed in kicking ass, so I have a lot of belief in the team, and I believe that we can succeed moving forward. There's also this very spooky lantern that's been in my room, and I'm suspicious of it, first of all. I don't know how it works, but I've been told that it works in a variety of ways, but sort of like the mirror that we found, I don't quite fully understand it.
Yeah, you are more than welcome to check the lantern out. I mean, you gather from your conversation with Nivix last night that it's safe. It's not gonna like explode, or it's relatively safe. So you're more than welcome to pick it up, do whatever you'd like. Do you want to try to investigate it at all, or are you just gonna leave it where it is?
I would like to inspect it, maybe see how heavy it is. I'll be carrying it around. It's in my inventory.
Yeah, so you move over to the lantern, which is it's a fairly large lantern, I will say. It's larger than any, you have lanterns, in fact. They're sort of bullseye ones. They're made to be compact and portable. Of course, there are lanterns that are more permanent that are used in cities, and those can get to be pretty large. But this one we'll say is about maybe 2.5 feet. Now 2 feet tall. It's 2 feet tall and about maybe a foot wide. And it's not perfectly circle. There are sort of edges, so it's almost diamond shape in a way. And it looks like it would be really heavy. It's made of like almost like a blackened iron type substance. And the panes of the lantern are kind of tinted this light green, even teal color. You pick the lantern up. It is surprisingly light. It doesn't really feel like you're picking up much of anything at all. It feels about the weight of an orange. Sure, why not? We'll just have some reference. So it's surprisingly light. It seems like anybody could carry this if they wanted to. When you pick it up, the sort of light within the lantern activates, and smoke, that bluish kind of green smoke, starts to billow out of it, and starts to pour in the direction that is the library.
Interesting. And that's where the sarcophagus is.
That is where the sarcophagus is, yes.
So it probably works, unless it just leads you to the nearest sarcophagus.
I mean, there's only one way to find out.
The lantern of sarcophagus detection.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
will
Perfect.
say, I take a brief moment and recognize that as the bearer of this lantern, it does go very well with my black feather aesthetic. I think it's a good fit. It doesn't really clash too much. If it was like an orange color, not an orange weight, that would be...
Gee, happy accident.
Yes.
Truly, that was unintentional.
Yes, unless you believe in intelligent design, which Khaal, maybe not as much.
You surmise even that you could possibly hook this lantern on one of the sort of spikes that are on the back of your scythe if you choose to.
And it would be securely fastened there?
When you're walking and you're not in combat, yes. Unless you were to tie it or do something like that. But you could kind of use it almost as a light post, and a walking stick of sorts if you choose. You don't have to.
I would like to test the durability of it somewhat. Not using my full strength or anything, but if I could take it and maybe just like bonk it against the wall,
It's very light,
Okay.
so I'm not sure if it's like brittle and it would shatter. I want to test it. a bit.
Sure. Okay, sure. Yeah, it'll get bumped eventually, so you might as well do so now. Yeah, you don't like smash it into the wall by any means, but you kind of, tap it. It holds up. It looks like it's as durable as like an iron or a metal like that. The panes of glass, you're not entirely sure. If you want to test those, you're more than welcome to. But no damage is befallen to the lantern.
I don't know if it would be a waste of Master Nivix's time, but I would be thinking to myself, maybe I should ask him if I can hit someone with this, or if that would be a bad idea.
Yeah, certainly. Could you have at your disposal one of probably the smartest people in the world? So it's not a bad idea to know the limitations of what is arguably an extremely important artifact for your upcoming journey.
Well, I think I would follow the smoke, because I haven't really slept well for a long time, so there would be a sort of like, what year is it moment waking up, and maybe some of the
Sure.
conversation from last night, it didn't fully register because I was so exhausted, and I tried to punch the door and it didn't work. Like, am I even Khaal at this point? But then I wake up, I'm feeling kind of spruced up, but was it a dream? Are we in danger? Did it break out of the sarcophagus? I've just got a bunch of questions. And Kenku only lived for 35 or so years, so we've got to figure this shit out.
We gotta go.
Yes.
Get to it. Absolutely. So you kind of get dressed or whatever it is you need to do and head over to the library, lantern in tow. Mendax, you awaken as well. What would you like to do?
I want to first inspect my room. Just go through any drawers or cabinets, look underneath
Okay.
the bed, underneath the mattress, just for anything that I might need to domestically forage.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a D20 roll.
I got a 19.
You got a 19. Nice. Okay. So as you're sort of inspecting your surroundings and trying to be familiar with the room you're in, you look underneath the mattress and you see do a roll.
Not porn, or maybe porn. You know what? I'm open.
You see what looks to be a small family of rats.
Less open.
It's a pretty barren room. There's really not much in it. It looks like it's one of the guest quarters of the spire. The drawers are empty so that you can use them to put your own things in. And the closet is empty so that you can do the same.
Question. How do I know it's a family of rats?
Well, I suppose it is a group of rats. You do not know if it's a family of rats. There are 3 rats underneath the bed.
Okay. Does one look like a baby or not?
They look to be roughly of similar size. They all look like adult rats.
Oh, and then can I kick the rats?
You can try.
I want to punt one of those rats across the room. I'd like to shriek silently and slightly like a thug, and then punt a rat across the room.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and give me a to hit roll. With disadvantage.
Now
because you're
streaming
kicking underneath the bed.
Vermintide 2.
Yeah, right.
I'm so ready for it. All right, the first roll was 11.
Okay.
No, they scared me. It doesn't change my alignment. I'm just, unexpected in a 9.
Okay, so, yeah, you kick out kind of wildly after screeching for a quick moment, and you sort of try to kick the rat underneath the bed. I mean, it's not like at the edge of the bed, so he's a bit in there. You kind of have to like kneel down, and it's a weird maneuver you're trying to accomplish.
This is like a fighting game, low sweeping kick, kind of like.
Yeah, we're going low sweep here. Down A or down A. You try to kick it, and you miss, only to realize that it's not actually 3 rats. It's 1 rat with 3 heads. And they bite back at you. and deal 3 damage. 1 damage each. Good job. After it does so, it sort of bolts into the other corner of the room into a largely auspicious mouse hole. You're muted, but I see you're really mad.
Wait, I shouldn't be muted.
Oh,
Now you're not.
maybe how loud you were just clipped the microphone and we couldn't hear you for a second. It's possible.
Oh, what a cowardly 3-headed rat is one of those people who BMs on StarCraft but then has his thing set to private that nobody can message him back when he
Exactly.
loses.
That's
That
exactly
garbage
what it
rat.
is.
Okay, do I have any? I need to find something. Can I like tear a piece of the bedding off and shove it into the mouse hole so it can't come back out?
You can do whatever you want.
I have a lantern in my room, right?
There was only one.
Do you have a lantern on your person? Like, do you have one of your
No.
personal belongings?
That's true. Well, I'm just wondering if we have like a candle or something in our room that was given to us as a guest part of the guest room.
Yeah, you would have a candle in your room. Sure, absolutely.
Because I'm considering smoking that bastard out.
Okay, well, we'll move on to Khal's section of the
She's
story.
gonna burn down the tower.
It's so fine.
Stone and wood. I'm not in the room, but
No, you're not. All right. Do you want to smoke the rat out of the hole, or are you in possibly risk the ire of its friends?
Considering it.
Okay. Do you want me to come back to you, or you want me to wait till you've considered it?
I'm going to take a moment to think of it. I'm at least going to shove the bedding in the hole. Whether or not I light it on fire is yet to be seen. We'll see if I calm down.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll go back to Khal then. Khal, you make it to the library and you see Master Nivix and Nigel are in discussion. They're talking. You see the room as I described previously, the sort of ominous, not almost, out of place rather, sarcophagus in the center of the room that does sort of have this very unsettling aura about it. As you hold the lantern, you're now in the room. The smokes, like as if a magnet has been pulling it, is now swirling around that sarcophagus in sort of this frenzy.
My bird instincts are telling me something very evil is in that sarcophagus. Especially with all this smoke billowing about it. And then I'm also making the connections of, I think you did mention that. I don't want to interrupt them. I can tell Masson is a very busy and professional wizard. He's probably talking to Nigel about wizarding things, but I would wait for a normal kind of break in their conversation before I interjected.
Sure, absolutely. You find that break pretty quickly. You do recall now, your memory is sparked that Master Nivix did say that this lantern is specifically sort of attuned to the essence of the evil entity that exists inside of this sarcophagus. So that it sort of is going to serve as a beacon for you guys to guide you. As he's not 100% sure where the essence has gone. He knows the general sort of area of the continent, but beyond that, he is not 100% sure.
Wise Master Nivix, good morning, and thank you for your hospitality and giving us a place to rest. I was very exhausted last night, and I had a couple of questions for you about this lantern, if you don't mind.
He sort of just, bows his head slightly, as if he, isn't trying to take credit for something he feels is just his responsibility. And he'll sort of motion you over. Nigel, back to your roll of a 15 for your history check. You were trying to have information about the company that's on the list. Or no,
Oh, sorry,
it
it was
what was it?
a 6 plus history
a
is
6.
5, so 11.
Okay, so you have heard of the company described on this letter. They're called the Murky Blackfoot Company. They're sort of what like your land's equivalents to almost like pirates. They're smugglers. They are certainly not opposed to going outside of the law to accomplish whatever their task is. You know that they have been hired by criminal organizations, by towns raising enough funds to retrieve some kind of item, and even by governments. Entire cities have hired them for their expertise. They're sort of known as one of the best sort of transporters in all of the land. There are certainly many, many other companies that will try to accomplish the same thing, but they're known as one of the best ones when it comes to ocean travel. And they are also one of the few that will even go to Dagger Shelf, which is, again, that frozen region of the north. It is largely considered to be a waste of time to try to go there because it is so... It's like going to the North Pole. There are so few reasons to go there. Why would anybody do it, essentially? But they'll make the trip for whoever, you know. There are some reasons that people would go there. So that is what you can recall, just kind of from your memory. Not any specific details of, like, things they've done, but just the general history of them.
And looking at this letter, Captain Snicklefit's a friend of yours, Master.
Yes, Captain Snicklefitz has handled many a job for me in the past. He is one of the most reliable smugglers I've ever had the pleasure of doing business with. I trust him for this journey.
A smuggler, though. I mean, he'll do the job, but probably best not to turn my back on him or keep my valuables secured while we're on board.
Well, I can speak for the captain. He is a reputable man, regardless of the company he keeps. He understands the gravity of the situation, though he may not understand all of the details and the particulars. He has yet to betray me or lead me astray. I have gone on ventures with him in the past, and I've had no ill fortune become of me on his ship. I overall trust the Blackfoot Company, and I don't see any reason that you would need to be alarmed. I would not entrust them to such a journey if I did not think they could handle it.
Well, it's good to be in safe hands then. We'll need a trusty sailor to get us into the far north. Before we get too much further along, Master, I did have a question, which I was so exhausted from our journey, I forgot to ask you yesterday. And I know you're absolutely exhausted from dealing with this creature and keeping it contained. However, I was wondering if you could share your expertise. And I'll just reach down into my breeches quickly and just pull out my silver spoon. So, Master, I attained this in a very peculiar fashion in one of the Dwarven most well-guarded secrets in Tol Karabad. But unfortunately, my memory was wiped afterwards. And as you can see on my arm, there's a tattoo. All I know is I came out of a room and an experience which bestowed great treasures on all three of us. And I was given this spoon and a tattoo that says, "Don't lose the spoon." But I can't seem to figure out its magical properties. Would you be able to take a look, Master?
Give me your perception.
15, and my modifier is +2, 17.
You see that he's sort of trying to hold back a smile as he thinks that the whole thing you just described to him is ridiculous and absolutely insane. He'll look over to Khaal as he approaches. I see you all have had some very interesting nights while Nigel has been away from the tower. Very well. Place it on the table. Again, as a reminder, he just doesn't stomach physically touching anybody, so he'll usually whenever you want to give something to him or vice versa, he'll just place it on whatever table's nearby and he'll grab it. Yeah, after you place it, he'll grab the spoon. He'll inspect it. His eyes sort of light up for a moment, like like actual light, not that he's like inspired. You see an actual visualization of his eyes getting brighter for a second as he sort of scans the spoon, and he'll place it back on the table. He'll say, "I don't know what antiquity shop you purchased this from, Nigel. It is simply a silver spoon. A decent one at that, I'm sure. It is of a very high quality. I don't know why you would get a tattoo about it, though."
Are you... Khaal got a bloody magical scythe. He can teleport short distances and chop people's heads off. I've seen him literally cut monsters in half. It must be that this is such a powerful artifact and so mysterious that even your powers of perception are unable to perceive into its depths and its powers. There has to be something more to this. This came from a place of great magic and power. It must be.
I would say highly unlikely, but I suppose not the most implausible thing I've ever heard of.
Looking a little flustered, I'm going to put it back in my breeches. Safekeeping, as I have. I mean, this tattoo isn't going to waste. I'm going to bloody get to the bottom of this spoon at one point or another.
And it better be magical.
Khaal, you've kind of walked over to them, taking care to avoid anything of the summoning, or not the summoning rather, but the ritual circle that's in the center of the room. You said you had some questions, Khaal. Well, what can I do for you?
Yes, sir. If you wouldn't mind, 3 questions. First question. The smoke billowing toward the sarcophagus. When, at least how far away from here do we need to be for it to work on this essence that has escaped?
He'll sort of nod his head and pay heed to the smoke that is swirling around, almost like in a vortex. I surmise once you're aboard the boat and on the second, half of your journey, closer to the dagger shelf than you are to Tolmarok, hopefully the smoke should start to lead you in the right direction. It'll be very faint at first. It may not even smoke at all. There may just be a flicker of light as you head the correct direction, but as you sort of zero in, you should be able to find what we're looking for.
Very good. Second question. How durable is this? Can I hit people over the head with it?
Well, it is certainly not meant as a weapon, but I suppose if it is a matter of life and death, it would do you more good than just your bare hands or claws, I suppose. In general, I would avoid doing significant damage to it. I have put whatever minor charms I can to protect it from any sort of undue calamity, but it is certainly not invulnerable. Treat it as precious cargo.
Very good. Third question. Do you know anything about demons?
Yes.
So, not to be too verbose, but one of the reasons I was cast out of my tribe was I drank a potion that had the soul of a demon in it. And whenever I'm feeling its power,
my voice goes a little bit like this, and I feel very aggressive.
I was wondering if there anything that I should be concerned about or prepare for. So far, it hasn't seemed to harm me, but it has changed my life.
He'll sort of, fidget with his beard a little bit as he's thinking, well, certainly there has been many a recorded pact with demons in the past. It is not unlikely that people get many of their powers from the extraplanar, one of those being demons. Out of the game, just as a sort of aside to how the world works, demons aren't like how we have them here, right? Heaven and then hell, there's demons and stuff. There is known extraplanar entities, elementals, demons, even sort of more alienistic type creatures as well. So demons are kind of just like one of those. Generally always pretty bad, obviously, but sometimes not the worst in the world. But yeah, he'll basically say something along the lines of making a pact with a demon can certainly be very, very risky. But if you know what you're doing, you should be able to coordinate around it. I've never heard of sort of imbibing the soul of a demon or having one fuse to you. It typically how it'll work is you'll make a pact or a contract with them, in the way that warlocks would. They sign away some portion of their power or promise to serve in some capacity, and in return they receive the magical energy or essence of their higher power. For you, it seems as almost it's like what I would surmise to be a symbiotic relationship, parasitic in some nature. I doubt that the essence or demon, as you call it, inside would be able to survive without the use of a host. So, in some ways, like the creature you're hunting now, this demon or soul, this essence, I wouldn't be so surprised if it is using you as a means to survive and a means to an end, possibly. Though without more detail or possibly even the potion itself that you drank, I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure.
Well, thank you. I will keep this in mind. I made no pact. It was just a box that said, whatever you do, do not drink. Keep out. And I drank it. So that was that. I don't know its name. I didn't promise anything to anyone. I just drank it and felt very strong, and then I kicked ass, and then I was exiled.
I will give you this last piece of advice, Khaal. Hopefully, when we're all done with this business, I can assist you further. No demon will lend its power without some sort of contract. So make sure you think long and hard on whether or not you did promise something away.
I don't even speak demon.
Demons don't need to be spoken to. They sense emotion or intent. They are very tricky. They're very crafty.
So if in the moment I felt a very primal sense of need to fight through something and agreed for it to lend me its power, that could have been a non-verbal agreement?
I've heard looser contracts, yes.
Well, thank you. I will meditate upon this.
Of course, anything I can do to assist one of Nigel's friends.
Oh!
He has so few, I need to make sure he keeps them.
Nigel's pretty cool. I feel like he hasn't been out and about that much, which I think wizards need to study a bunch, but he's grown a lot. He's even gotten a little bit of muscle on his shoulders. But I did have a fourth question. Sorry for your time. Where's the kitchen? I'm hungry as fuck. Excuse my language.
Nigel, you could certainly show your friend the kitchen. I'm sure you haven't forgotten where it is.
Indeed. And was one of these satchels for Khaal as well?
Yes. In fact, on like the satchel itself, it looks like there's a simple embroidery that says even Khaal, Nigel, Mendax. So yes, there you may take them, and whenever Mendax rises from her slumber, you may tell her the same. We can discuss the details of your travel when you have all had a bite to eat.
Okay, well, fantastic. Khaal, follow me. I'll rustle us up some food.
You didn't tell me Master Nivix does embroidery. That's adorable. You always seem like a tough wizard guy, and he's over here stitching and knitting.
Or
He's
he
a man of
magically
many
had it
talents.
do it. I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, he's capable of just about anything. And you know, my life here, I mean, I may not have had too many humanoid friends, Khaal, but come with me, and I did learn a lot from my three-headed rat friend. Oh, we had some good games back in the day. We would always be hanging out. I'd feed him all the crumbs from my snacks. and he'd run around. I even taught him to play fetch with me. It was great. We had some good times. There's the spider, the silverware spider. I mean, not too much character in that one, but still fun to play with. I basically grew up in a house filled with many pets. So, I mean, it's been good to get out in the world, but I think I learned a lot here.
Well, that's good. It seems like a very nice place. I feel very safe here. It's secure, and it's not quite as noisy as Tol Karabad, which I would say is secure, but the echoes in the stone halls, they kind of carry. I slept well last night.
Oh, I had the best sleep I've had in a long time. Here, here's some food. So I take you to the pantry and offer you up just about everything we can find. Cheese, bread, dried meats, all the rest.
All right, Mendax, what have we decided?
I've decided not to burn the rat.
Here, here.
Only because I'd like to think I'd probably look down into the hole a bit before I stuffed it full and notice that it bent around the corner and I don't know which way it went, and it's not really effective to smoke it out if, you know, it goes a long distance and I only have that one bit of kindling without having to burn my entire bed, and I don't feel like sleeping on the floor if we're here one further night, so I won't actually burn the rat out.
Okay. I would say that's a fairly sensible decision, but it's your choice.
I do go at it though.
Okay. What would you like to do now?
I'm going to go ahead and pop my head out into the hallway to see if the other two are up, if I can find them in their rooms. I haven't seen anybody else yet, so I'm going to go out, and my stomach is growling, so I would like to see if I can't find something to eat. Perhaps something to imbibe, a nice potent beverage.
Yeah, you see that both Nigel and Khaal are not in their rooms. They must have awoken and left sometime earlier. And you do remember the way over to the kitchen from last night, or at least the pantry that Nigel led you guys to have a quick late night snack before bedtime.
Perfect. Then I'd like to go head towards the pantry then to get some food.
Yeah, as you do, you see your companions, Nigel and Khaal, already scarfing down some random assortment of food.
Mendax! It's a feast time! Get some of this.
Yo, Mendax! Oh, you should come and have some. We've got some fresh milk. They just got a delivery from town.
Wait, fresh milk, not fermented?
No. Fermented milk?
Cheese?
Oh my. None of that nomad stuff. Ugh.
There's cheese right here. It's got mold in there on purpose. I think it's gourmet or something.
Is it as good as stonefish?
No, but it's pretty good.
I'll go for the cheese.
It's a little bit better.
Good. Okay, then I'm just going to go ahead and go for some of the fresh milk and shove my face full of cheeses and meats. Do you have any greens? Is there any vegetables?
Yeah, there's some kind of basic vegetables, nothing too exotic, but you'll find fresh fruits and vegetables, and as Nigel mentioned, some fresh milk as well, as Master Nivix gets regular shipments from the town.
And did either of you have monstrous rats underneath your bed this morning? I tried to punt one across my room and it fucking bit me right in the foot. Little bastard got away there before I could stab it. I was going to smoke it out, but then I decided not to.
I don't usually check under my bed.
Oh, you ran into Ratty, did you?
You named the rat Ratty.
It's not every day you see a rat with 3 heads. But when Master Nivix has been around, you never know. I mean,
Wouldn't it be Rat 3?
I wasn't that clever. I was about 4 years old when I met him, which actually about maybe 6 years old. But even then, well, I guess he's clearly been affected by magics. They're not meant to live that long. But no, we have some great times. And you probably should get that bite checked out because that might get infected. I mean, as much fun as he is, I taught him how to fetch crumbs every now and then and play games, but he's pretty disgusting. I've seen him licking himself many times, so you really should make sure that that heals up okay.
Very. What I had a bad childhood, Nigel, but yours might win. Yours might win.
He was a good companion and friend to me. People talk about having pet dogs, and I've even heard of some nobles having pet fish. What's the point of that? It's a boring, stupid animal. A rat, that's a true animal. It's got to fight to survive. It can survive anywhere, in a city, out in the wild, in the forests. You know, it's resourceful. And even when the bigger creatures are struggling, the rat always finds a way. You can learn a lot from studying the rat.
Especially when it's licking itself.
Hygiene sometimes comes at a great cost.
Why are you talking shit about fish?
Or dogs. Dogs are loyal and kind and smart animals.
A loyal, kind, not terrible for guarding your property. Wouldn't say they're particularly intelligent and independent, absolutely not. Fish as well, by the way. Have you ever had a pet fish, Carl? I'm pretty sure you'd eat it the moment you see it.
Yes, that's the point.
It's
But
a
that
good
doesn't
pet.
mean that we
It
don't
keeps your
respect
master
the fish.
surviving.
If I disrespect the fish, then there is no fish. There should be respect for the fish, for is it what makes a barbarian strong? Fresh fish. Why do you think I have such luster on my feathers?
I was going to say they look exceptionally lustrous today, Carl.
Thank you.
I always thought that
Must have
was
been a good night's rest.
from your natural glands secreting wax, which of course makes it so that the water doesn't stick inside the feathers, but instead bounces off. And I didn't really think there was any nutrients inside a fish that particularly causes that. In fact, it would be if you potentially didn't have any root vegetables
some
for
coffee.
too many months, then you may actually, in fact, find you are short on that and you end up being in a situation where if you're out in the rain as an undernourished kenku, you could find yourself just turning into a big old fluffy wet ball, sort of like a mop. So you do need to keep an eye on that. But I actually don't think fish is what leads you to have such a lustrous coat.
Are you backseat birdbarianing me right now?
I just pointing out some notes on anatomy. I mean, it's not your fault you're misinformed. You grew up in a barbarian tribe.
That you're saying that to the large barbarian with a scythe, and you're standing there with a spoon up your nuts.
It's not up my nuts. It's next to them. It's quite comfortable. I figured out a method.
I guess I
okay?
just assumed it was like nestled in between.
He just went from
Terribly uncomfortable.
He just went from backseating me to telling me that the entire Kenku tribal culture of eat fish, get big and strong is wrong. This has been known for generations.
He's just disrespecting every creature that is not a rat. We've learned where Nigel's affinities lie, and it is solely with the rat people.
Ah, well, if only I could visit the Skaven, if they are even real. But I've read stories, and I think it sounds like a fantastic culture.
Well, it's a good thing we have good food to argue over. I'm grateful for that.
Yes, indeed. I mean, I may have been a little silly. The fish, I'm sure, makes you good and strong. And, you know, it may not have been something I enjoyed so much at first bite, but it's always good to expand my boundaries. And I was never that much of a fish man living here in the tower. Not so many sources of fresh fish, occasionally dried and salted. But you know what? That stonefish was a new experience that I'll never forget, Carl. So I thank you as a friend for expanding my taste horizons and giving me new experiences that will definitely leave a mark on me.
It's called a
Try
palate.
rat. Have you ever eaten rat, Nigel?
No, I would never eat rat. I don't want to get bit.
Oh. So wait, You respect rats too much to eat them?
I mean, if you think about it, you get so little meat off of it, and it'd probably bite you in your attempt to catch it. It's too much struggle for a creature which it fills a very specific niche, small enough to not be attractive enough to our palates, and, wise enough and powerful enough in its own ability to survive and thrive, even in the most dire of circumstances. Though, to be fair, that is an attitude I only came to after a long time. When I was a young lad, things were sometimes desperate, and on the street we ate whatever we could get our hands on. But I never want to live that life again.
Nigel, I'm going to force you to take a spell. As your level 4 level up, one of them. That spell is Find Familiar. Do you know what that does?
Oh, I do not.
Find Familiar lets you have like a wizard's familiar, a small animal of some sort. So you can have sort of basically like a companion to do either basics tasks, or it can get stuff for you. There's lots of things you can do with Find Familiar, but you have basically some small creature. So I will suggest heavily you take Find Familiar. I will let you use Ratty as your familiar if you would like.
Oh, heck yes. Find Familiar is being added to the spell book as we speak.
What the hell is this? It's Mendax's birthday, and Nigel gets a bonus spell. Happy
Oh,
birthday,
I'm
Mendax.
going to use my bonus roll to stab his familiar later. So.
Oh.
It's okay, because you could do that. He could just summon it again. It doesn't matter.
Oh, God damn it. I'll feel better
But
about
she
it.
can kill it again. Perfect.
The infinitely killable rat. I will say, Mendax, you see that there is a satchel at the table that you now notice that has your name on it, in fact.
I did not steal that.
Yep.
Where would it come from?
Either of you guys want to explain what the satchel
The
is?
mouths
or
are probably
what it's all
full.
about?
I can
Yeah,
just
probably.
grab it.
It's cold weather clothing, similar to how I described earlier, but more cut to fit a tiefling, Kanku, and then obviously Nigel. So it's like furs and some very, very, very cold weather clothing.
These are quite nice. I mean, not exactly the way I would have probably done the seams and darts, but, very nice considering.
Yes, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to trying out a new climate. We've been in the hot, hot, hot ouch for much of this journey, so it'll be a bit of a change of pace to go into the frigid cold.
The cold, cold, cold. Ooh.
Yes. But the fires
Yeah,
of our
pretty much.
hearts are strong. I believe in us. We've come a long way from Lake Town.
Factually and metaphorically. Just literally long distances.
That's true. I'm worried about Stumpy. We were supposed to return his key, and I don't even know which direction Tol Karabat is in from here.
I think he'll be okay. I mean, he's still the king, and I don't think many people, no one else knows that it was stolen, I don't believe, except for him. So I don't think it should come back on him unless he goes about telling everyone that he lost the secret key that he wasn't supposed to have.
That's true. He did mention to you guys that he's not supposed to use it, and then he lost it. So
Well, in any case, we did deal a major blow to the enemies of Tol Karabat.
certainly,
For
you
that I'm
disarmed
proud.
them from a super powerful artifact.
We
So,
definitely did.
They are much safer.
We can ask Master Nivix if he knows anything about the hot elf dorgatory god and how to get back there. We can always try to retrieve that key again, Carl.
That's true. Oh, do we want to ask him about that mirror? Don't we have a mirror that only shows certain people?
It only shows women so far. Get wrecked? Get wrecked.
Oh, yes. Very good point.
I don't know why I would be insulted by that.
Because you can't see how lustrous your feathers are at any point that you want. It's not the ones on your face.
Nigel, don't you have identify?
I do. It's rather expensive to use, though. I believe I need a pearl. Oh, actually, oh, that's it.
We could temporarily rob someone again.
Well, I mean, it was supposed to be a permanent rob until somebody makes the unilateral decision to make it a temporary rob.
Well, some people have a conscience.
Sucks to be some people, I guess.
Yeah, you guys could certainly ask Master Nivix what the mirror does, and anything else that you have if you're curious about it. Or Nigel, you know that there are the resources available here in the tower for you to cast Identify if you need.
Okay, cool. Would I be able to, rustle up in a storeroom? I'll go and see if I can find a pearl worth at least 100 gold. And I still have a couple of owl feathers on me, despite
And it
Khal's
doesn't consume
uproar.
it either. You can keep
Yes.
it. So you just, good. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. You know pretty much for a fact that you could find something like that around with very little problem. I'll let you guys, as long as you want to. Basically, Master Nivix said whenever you guys want to talk, basically. Do you guys bring Mendax up to speed, show her the letter and things like that, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mendax, you, upon seeing the letter, you have heard of this company before, the Murky Blackfoot. Your troupe of actors, as you traveled around the world, have been employed and employed them a couple of times. Not like, you don't use them every week, but in a couple of scenarios when you had to procure or offload some especially sort of hot items, if you will, you've used them. Their services are not cheap, but they are considered to be the best in the world. Your background would put you in a much higher familiarity with their services. They are regarded as simply as the best in the underground world as far as ferrying an item to and from somewhere else. They're the best couriers that you can get.
Look, this is the Han Solo Chewbacca of D&D. You guys are in good hands.
Han Solo and Chewbacca dump their spice at the first sign of an Imperial cruiser. These people would never. These are actually, I've worked with them before.
How do you know that?
They are very
Oh, you
reliable.
have.
Do you think they could do the castle run in under 5 parsecs?
Well, I mean, that's almost impossible. Okay, Millennium Falcon did it in less than 12. Less than 5. We folding time and space here?
Nerd card revoked. We'll take that, pig. Thank you very much.
Actually, there was folding of time and space on previous episodes in the door realm, so yes.
That's true. You know what? I do stand corrected. Nigel is correct. He could do it in less than 5 parsecs if, he went through Dorgatory.
Yeah, if I was a douchebag Dorgatory god, yeah, sure.
Dorgatory.
I just think he's not been socialized properly. He just needs more time with people. That's all.
Yeah, so you feel impressed, actually, would be more the word, that you guys are going to be in the company of essentially like legends in at least your line of work. It might not mean as much to Khaal and to Nigel, but to you, it's actually it's like, oh, okay, shit. I didn't realize that's how high we were going up here.
Yeah, Master Nivix, I didn't know that he wrote like this, Nigel. You didn't say he had these kind of connections. These guys are quite a big deal in the domestic foraging world and the circle surrounding that.
Well, I mean, I know you've only just met my master, but he's not the most talkative of people. If you really want to, I think, understand just how open he is, and, sharing of his own past and stories, just try to shake his hand on our way out of here, and you might, you know, realize he's not exactly going to fill you in on information unless he thinks it's pertinent to the exact situation you're in at that moment.
Makes sense. He wouldn't happen to, or you wouldn't know of any place in here that we could perhaps find a bit of extra supplies. Specifically, I am very low on arrows. I'm going to guess that wherever we're going, I will eventually at some point need to shoot something. And I would not like to make the same mistake before.
I imagine I've never seen any arrows anywhere in the tower, Apop.
Arrows. Yeah, no, not really. You guys don't have access too much to weaponry.
But there's like a
could-
town nearby, right? That we'll probably be passing through when we leave, I would imagine, because I obviously know the local geography.
Yeah, there are some minor settlements nearby. You could very, very easily requisition essentially some of the supplies that you're looking for. If there is some simple kind of, again, like arrows or other sort of traveling supplies that you guys would like or think that you'll need on this adventure, by all means, you can ask Nivix and he can essentially get them for you within reason. I mean,
Yeah.
simple things that a pretty, low to the ground town would have. If you could get it in Lakewood, first town you guys were in, you can probably request it and you guys can get it pretty quick.
Yes, let's just hope there's no Sheriff Figglesworth wherever we go. But we will be passing through a town, no doubt, with supplies, Mendax. So if you simply ask my master, I'm sure he'll provide you a writ giving you his authority to requisition some of the local supplies. But I wouldn't expect there to be much magical or especially well-crafted items. Basic arrows, hunting arrows, and simple weapons. Didn't we need a replacement weapon? Wasn't a sword missing or something like this?
Well, I mean, I didn't want to bring it up. There was a rapier that may have been carelessly and needlessly chucked into a pit of lava, totally on purpose. But I do have a replacement one. It's just, it is kind of disgusting and rusty and old, and I wouldn't mind getting a new one of those as well. Especially if we're going into the cold. Brittle metal in frigid temperatures doesn't do well.
Yes. Well, make sure you ask the master for that as well, and then he can hopefully the local weaponsmith will be able to get you something a little bit better. I personally need to go and rustle up some magical supplies, and I've learnt a lot on our last journey, so I think it's time I go and quickly write down some of my new learnings and test some of my new magics, as well as identify this mirror, now that I'll be able to hopefully find access to another pearl. So meet you all back here in the library in half an hour, say?
Yeah. So Mendax, you want to go and talk to Nivix about what you want to requisition. Nigel is going to cast Identify, at least on that mirror, and Khaal anything in particular you want to do, or you want to kind of relax and take it easy?
I don't think there would be too much around for a birdbarian, but I may just poke around and see if there's anything that could be useful or pertinent to me. Maybe there's some potions.
Sure.
I wonder if he has potions. Does he have potions? Nigel, does he have potions? Is there a potion room? I should probably ask before I take a bunch of potions.
There is an alchemy sort of section of the tower. Nivix is proficient in sort of, not remedial, he's definitely skilled at it, but he doesn't focus too much energy in the alchemical arts. He only knows as much as he needs to in order to make whatever material components he needs for his other studies and his other work. But there is like a setup somewhere if you wanted to check that out, Nigel. I recall for sure.
I would.
Sounds good. Okay. Nigel, you head off towards one of the many storerooms where you think that you'll find um, the materials you're looking for. You just want to find a pearl, is that it, or are you looking for anything else?
Just a pearl, but I'll keep an eye open. I'm not going to do a thorough search, but if there's anything else that's looks like it's particularly there, yeah, I mean, there's so many different artifacts and things sitting around. We've already asked the master, so if he hasn't pointed anything out, just look for the pearl. Yeah.
Sure. You you find the pearl fairly quickly among sort of a, not like a box of them or anything like that, but a small sort of inlaid chest so that it can keep them safe and they don't get crushed. There are several there. You can take one or two even if you want to, and use that for your travels from then on. You do find other material components, but the material components are weird. They're just like essentially mundane or nearly completely random items. So it's like, a string, the tail of a rat,
Yeah.
a quartz, like things like that. So none of them are like, ooh, yeah, let me grab one of those. I'll need that.
I'm not
Unless
really a
there's a spell
connoisseur
in-
of the rituals, so I mean, I don't really. I carry around, a string. I always carry around my owl feathers, the couple of
Yeah.
ones that I have to use frequently, and everything else. I mean, if I need a bit of charcoal, I can always just find it from a fireplace or anything like that, and there's all the rest.
Not a bad way. A lot of wizards they really don't, they'll plan if there's something specific they're trying to accomplish or eventually learn, but until they need it, there's no point unless it's like a known, very rare item or something like that. You find the pearl, and we'll say that you set off to identify the mirror. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Mendax, you find Master Nivix in the library again. He's kind of taking a break from still this morning when Nigel and Khaal were talking with him. He's sitting and reading and just hanging out basically for now. It looks like again the ritual circle that was drawn in the center of the room, from what you can tell, looks complete. There were missing sort of insignias, and it didn't look like it had been completed last night, but it seemed that he stayed awake at least long enough to finish that. And there's sort of a sheen that's over it so that it doesn't get disturbed if somebody were to walk on
I clear my voice so that he can hear me. I don't want to step in that circle though, so I stay around the edge of it.
it. Yeah, you clear your voice. He doesn't really move.
Master Nivix? Master Nivix?
Yeah, he'll put the book down. Oh,
Okay.
hello, Mendax. Yes, what can I do for you?
First of all, thank you for my new furry clothing. It's very nice of you to think of that. The stitch work was quite excellent. I don't know if you did that by hand or had someone else do it, but it was very lovely. And I hate to be a bother. But one, you may need a new blanket up in my room because someone may have torn a corner off and shoved it into a hole in the wall to prevent rats from getting in. But secondary to that, I was wondering, Nigel mentioned that you may be able to give me a writ or some kind of order form for more arrows and a new weapon from one of the towns localized before we leave. The ones that I have, I'm running frightfully low on arrows, and my weapon, I don't believe, will last very long in the cold weather.
Yeah, he nods his head and he'll give you a blank piece of paper and like a quill and some ink. And he'll say, write down whatever it is that you or your companions might require for the journey ahead. I will send it out to the town and I will have them meet you with the supplies at your destination.
Oh.
So essentially, instead of having to go to the town, he'll just have them bring the supplies to where you guys are already going to go.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so just whatever you think you need. He will say it's a fairly small town. They don't have too many exotic things, but basic, maybe weapons. I don't even know if they have that. Arrows certainly should be available. Hunters and the such use that for getting their prey. Swords and that sort, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe the sort of the guard or something might have an extra or something of the such. But whatever it is that you require, write it down, and I'll at least see if they have anything available.
That's good, because if there's a troop that could be distracted by a small, insignificant town, it's the Wayfarers.
Gotta steer them clear of all towns. we ain't going to no towns anymore.
We need to go to every single town. I've got a little sticker book, and I need to fill them out. I'm going to each town.
It's the
I want to get all the
completionist group.
stamps on my passport.
I need to go into every building and talk to every NPC just in case.
100% completion
There could
of
be a
this
side quest.
campaign. You'd never know.
You never know. It's
Every
true.
town could have a Richard the Butcher, and we're missing it by
That's true.
not going.
You can't miss Richard Dixon. He's
True.
too precious of a character.
You can't miss the dicks you never have.
Oh yeah!
He'll hand you the paper and he'll see if you need anything else. Essentially, he's not annoyed by you being there or anything, but it just doesn't look like he really understands
Right.
the social convention of small talk very well.
Okay. Well, then I'm just going to go ahead and write out, one rapier and like 20 to 30 arrows. I don't know how many they'd have, so I'm just going to do that. And while I'm writing that out with the quill, anyone, Master Divix, if you don't mind, I hope it's not impertinent, but I was just wondering how you came to know the group of smugglers that we're going to be working with. They're very well known. And they're not somebody that I would have thought that anyone who trained Nigel might, be in leagues with.
Yes, it is quite an interesting story, actually. I believe some odd years ago, before Nigel was even around, they tried to steal something from my spire, and I caught them.
What did they try to steal?
Some such artifact. I don't really recall. There are so many of them here. Some valuable component, I'm sure, for a town or a group of thieves. I'm not entirely certain anymore. Regardless, I stopped them, and instead of reporting them to the authorities, that would have taken much too much of my time. I decided that instead I could use their services in the future, and from there they have been quite an invaluable source of transportation when the need arises. I don't use them very regularly. They are not the cheapest of cartels, but they are very efficient and they're very good at what they do. I've come to know Captain Snicklefitz throughout the year, and he is quite a reliable sailor.
Captain, that he is. Port to port to port. You can always count on Snicklefitz, honestly. One other question before I leave you. The key that we use to get here, the key that opens doorways to anywhere you want to go, I was confused by how it ever came into the realm of men to begin with. It obviously takes you into some sort of limbo. And the person there guarding it just said every few hundred years or so the key went missing or was lost. But he said it's the only one of its kind. I don't know how one would even get there. But we do have somebody named Stumpy, the king of the dwarves, who I would like to give more information on this to for my friend Khaal. It's very important to him. And I was wondering if you knew anything else about this key, or how he might get back to that realm, or if there's even a chance that we could.
Certainly, I'm sure there is a way to break into that realm. It would require quite a sophisticated amount of magic and preparation. Traveling between the planes of existence is not a minor task, and the artifact that you and Nigel and Khaal possessed is certainly one of a kind. not made by anyone here in this world. As far as their motives or how the key has come to this world or place, deities, extraplanar creatures, and their reasonings are inscrutable. It's worthless to try to understand why they do what they do. Maybe he's bored and throws the key through a random door every now and again. Maybe there's something wrong with his mentality and he loses it, or I couldn't tell you. Maybe somebody breaks in and steals it. Who knows, but I would highly, highly doubt that your dwarf king is ever going to get that key back.
Unfortunate. Do you think there might be any scrolls or anything here in the spire, here in the library, that might shed any more light on it, or do you think we are just attempting a fruitless exposition here?
Well, I'm certainly... I don't have an immense amount of knowledge on this particular creature or force of nature that you've described. But if you like, there are several books, and he'll kind of like move his hand just a little bit, and like 4 or 5 books will come off of the wall. They're pretty big, and they have very generic and weird names, like the circumstances of deities and their places of dwelling, and like all the, like, it's boring as hell. Basically, it's like textbook university reading about geology to you. So you're more than welcome to borrow these, though I don't know how useful they'll be for you in your specific quest at hand.
I'm groaning, but I'm trying to be a good friend. So I would like to take them back to the room and go over them for a bit then. And while I'm collecting the books, I'll hand him over the scroll that I finished and the paper that I finished writing the order on.
He'll nod and look it over temporarily. He'll kind of, you see sort of this blue light kind of emanate from his fingertips, and it'll fold up into like a crane and fly off into the distance and out one of the windows. And he'll say, "Oh, let Khaal and Nigel know if there is anything they need to get it to me soon. I would imagine you all will be off on your travels shortly."
Yes, I know that they're just collecting some things, or Nigel's collecting some things, but I imagine that we'll be, if not leaving today, then I would say very early tomorrow morning, just as soon as possible.
Sure. With that, we'll say you go back to your room and you read like half a page and fall asleep.
I read the table of contents.
Yeah. Oh boy. Khaal. I see you have your hand raised. What's up?
Master Nivix, do you have any knowledge of the alchemical arts?
He'll kind of, yes, I've dabbled in the craft of potions and the distilling of certain resources.
Do you have a
What is
store
it
of
that you
potions?
need? Store of potions. I have more so chemical reagents than potions.
But these
he's
chemical
basically-
reagents could become potions.
He kind of is going through his Rolodex of knowledge. I suppose if you needed to cure your gout, or if you needed to insulate an apartment or building of sorts, yes. Those are the only at-hand reagents I have. He has more of an assortment of chemicals as opposed to pre-combined stopper in the bottle, here you go potions.
Would I have the knowledge to do anything with the raw reagents? I think I'm still beginner level.
Yeah, you're like we'll say you're like a journeyman at this point. You know, you're not an expert by any means in the craft, but you're no longer really an apprentice. You've been doing this for a whole year. So you know, it has been quite a long time you've been studying how to do this, and you've practiced on several potions and creations before. He says you're by all means you're more than welcome to use any of those reagents that you might find appropriate. I don't have any use for them anytime soon, and if I need to, I will just make more.
Thank you very much. Which way is the potion room? Potions.
He'll move his hand again, and like a little orb of light will kind of appear and manifest, and will start to sort of lead off into one of the hallways. Just follow that. It'll lead you there.
Thank you, Master Nivix. And then, without a moment's notice, I would just like to turn and sprint after it. Potions.
It's not going very fast.
That's
it's
okay.
quick.
I can sprint and then look back and realize I passed it and then slow down.
Fair enough. Yeah, it'll kind of, just lumber through the air, almost like a wisp or something like that, until it lands and dissipates in on one of the doors. You open the door. It essentially there is like an alchemical lab. You notice a variety of sort of beakers and jars, flasks, and sort of glassware, essentially, all for distilling, refining, filtering, all sorts of manners of, whatever you might need. As far as components go in this room, are you trying to make anything in particular? Is there something in mind that you would like to try to make?
I have blown through all the potions that I had, I believe, so I have no healing potions, no strength potions, and speed potions. Those are the ones that I've had, and fire breathing.
Sure.
So I would say I have basic knowledge of those. Mainly it's looking to restock. Maybe just drink a potion for now, who knows?
The strength potion you do not know how to make. You purchased that one pre-made, and then it broke. The healing potion and the fire breathing potion, yes, those ones you're familiar with how to craft those. Let's say with a mixture of the components that you have on you from your travels and from the very, very high quality and refined sort of resources that are in this room, along with the glassware, essentially, that's also of extremely high quality. So that makes a big difference too in how efficient your sort of yields are going to be. You can make you know what? Let's I won't say you can make any. Give me a roll. Who are we using to roll for your creations here? Let's see. I think we were using, is it nature possibly? Or do we have a specific crafting one for you? It's been a while since you have made something.
I don't remember.
Let me look. Okay. Let me look at your character real quick.
I'm proficient in nature, and perception, and deception.
Here, let me see something. You know what? Bingo bango. We're gonna add a custom skill. I think we should have done this a while ago. I will say that you get a +2 bonus to that skill for how many times you've sort of worked at it. Go ahead and give me a D20 roll.
I rolled a 3.
Okay, we'll say that you can make... Would you like to try to make one really quality potion or several sort of lesser?
Well, with the 3, probably...
let's if before you rolled, what would you have tried to go for?
I have no idea what I might roll for this, but
yeah,
I would probably just want to restock on healing potions, just for the practical side. And they taste good too.
Okay. With a 3, we'll say the bonuses you would get from such high quality materials, instead of being able to make multiple, you can make one. Man, 3 sucks. We'll say you can make 1 greater healing potion.
This glassware is exquisite, and the ingredients are perfect. If I mix in my incompetence, I may be able to make at least 1 greater healing potion.
Perfect. Amazing. Okay.
I need to get new dice.
Yeah, maybe.
I thought for a brief moment about using Mendax's dice for that roll.
No, I would have given you my birthday die for that roll. Absolutely.
I forgot about that. Okay, there, cool. Now you have a custom skill called alchemy. Bam! We can just use that now, Khaal.
Excellent. I feel a little bit more official in my mastery of alchemy now.
I don't know why I never thought of doing that earlier. But yeah, so you're able to create 1 greater healing potion. A few things go wrong, and you're a little bit out of practice. You're not even quite used to using such refined equipment. It is not quite above your head necessarily, but you're unfamiliar with such a high grade and high quality.
Khaal the Kinkood, the Birdbarian, biggest, thickest bird. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with episode 22, Wayfarers. We took our intermission there, timed it perfectly with my blue screen, actually. So we are back.
Yeah.
I was in the midst of rolling high to craft a bunch of potions, but yeah, we were forced to give our intermission a little bit early due to that computer problem. However, I've crafted 1 greater healing potion, and I'm feeling rather proud of myself.
Yeah, good job. That's not super easy. Those things are expensive.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah. Anything else? So you crafted that potion using up the ingredients you have and the resources you found. Anything else you're wanting to do?
I might just give a pass over the room and see if there's anything that I might want to bring with me.
Sure. We'll say, give me a d20 roll.
10.
Okay. You're able to find some, mixing agent, essentially, to, stabilize and combine different ingredients together into, 1 cohesive potion. That is of a very high quality. So we'll say that you're able to find 3 doses of that you can use for your future potion crafting.
3 high-quality mixing agents.
Yeah. In the notes next to it, you could for lower tier potion crafting, you can get advantage on the roll.
When I have those.
Yeah, when you use those.
Very good.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So we'll move over to Nigel. Nigel, you have been hard at work conducting this ritual to identify what this mirror does. You have gathered all the prerequisite components, drawn up all the circles and sort of formulas, if you will, necessary in order to channel the magic properly, and you've placed the mirror in the center of the circle. After again, about an hour of concentration and of, sort of focusing and channeling your magic, you sort of divine essentially the purpose of the mirror. The mirror, as it turns out, it only shows the reflection of women. That's it.
What an enchantment. Speaking of inane, only... well, okay. Yes, I'll keep that to myself for now. And
Yeah, sure.
and feeling rather disappointed, I'm going to gather up. What am I going to gather up? What was it? It was charcoal, incense, herbs, and a brass brazier. Because as our great DM suggested, yeah, maybe I feel like using some of my newfound magical abilities. So I'm gonna go and look for Ratty with my brazier in hand and all of my my components, and see if I can find him and enchant him into a familiar.
Sure, absolutely. You scour off with your recently obtained kind of magical implements, and you find Ratty fairly quickly. You're familiar with its sort of hiding spots and where it likes to hang out during the day. You find it under the bed of Mendax, actually, where of her sort of guest room. It's under there, eating some different crumbs, essentially, that it's squirreled away from one of the corners of the wall or the house.
Wait, am I in my bed asleep right now with the book and?
Oh yeah, that's
And so this
right.
creeper is coming into my room, crawling under my bed.
I forgot about that. Yes. Nigel, let's say this. You opened Mendax's door. It's shut. You know what? Okay, we'll rewind because I totally forgot that. Do you knock on her door? Do you knock on her door? Or do you just go in?
Yeah, I'll just knock on the door.
Okay. Mendax, give me a perception roll.
$14, and I don't have much. Yeah, +1, 15.
Yeah. Okay. That's you're cognizant enough, you're aware enough in your sleep to wake up to the knock.
Who is it?
Nigel. Hello.
Oh.
Can I come and just have a quick look around?
What?
You mentioned you saw Ratty earlier.
I chased him into a. I'm saying this as I'm walking over to the door and I'm opening it. Yeah, I chased a little shit into a hole in the wall over there after he bit me.
Oh, awesome. Well, no worries. I'll take him off your hands. I'll make sure he comes back to my room with me. No worries. And I'll go rummaging looking for Ratty.
Yeah, the first place you check is underneath the bed, and that's where Ratty is hanging out.
All right. Ratty, do you remember Nigel? And I'll pull a few crumbs out of my pocket of cheese and kind of offer them up on my hand towards him.
Yeah, Ratty is familiar with his old friend and companion Nigel, and makes several high-pitched squeaks that I will not voice, and scurries over to your hand.
Please voice them.
We really need to be
I don't
in
get
this
paid enough
world.
to
I
voice
don't
rats.
think that we. I just don't really feel.
There you go, perfect.
Nigel.
No, it does not. No.
Give me the crumbs. Give me the crumbs.
No. Absolutely not.
It's a talking rat. A talking three-headed rat.
All right. So I'm gonna lure Ratty out of the room with a few more crumbs and try to lure him back to my room.
It's easily accomplished.
Beautiful. All right. So I'll set up the brazier once I get him in there. Close the door, and I am going to try and cast Find Familiar for the first time, which I believe takes me an hour and 10 minutes. So yeah, it's going to take a little while.
Yep. So this isn't quite the way that the spell works. Is you don't normally like enchant an animal that you found, but because it fits very, very well, that's what we're going to go with. So we'll say you spend the hour essentially making Ratty less of a creature and more of like a summonable spirit. It's almost you enchant
You killed
him.
Ratty.
Yeah.
Preview.
Jeez,
Preview.
that's so loud. Thank you for the previews, though. I have to assume that.
I mean, good on you, Nigel. I was trying to do that earlier. I didn't think you had it in you.
I'm taking him to a better place.
Shh, Ratty, shh. It'll all be over soon.
Yeah,
You won't
so
have to-
you
He gave him some
enchant
flavor aid.
Ratty essentially to become a castable familiar that can be summoned even if he is destroyed.
Awesome. And quick out of character talk with the DM. So Ratty has 3 heads. Kind of looks like 3 rats, right? Combined. Do we count?
Kinda.
Does this count as a giant rat?
No.
But
Damn it.
please.
It counts as a rat that is in the fine. You do not get a giant rat. No.
What if he rolled really well?
A really, really good attempt, though.
What if he nat 20'd it?
No.
I would have given you my birthday roll.
How about
That is your roll for your birthday. That is non-transferable
Birthdays are about giving.
to
No,
you.
it's about
which you have-
receiving.
You're gonna give away my present to someone else? What the hell? Maybe I should just keep it if you don't want it.
It's not about not wanting it. It's about celebrating the friendship by passing it on.
No, it's not.
And also, you once you give the gift, DM, you can't put rules and regulations on it. That's not what gifts are.
Oh yes, I can.
No. You didn't give me a gift card to only that. You gave me the 20-point roll.
Yeah, I gave you the 20-point roll.
And I'm
right.
going to I may loan it. Mm-hmm.
No,
I
you're not
can
working your
I
way out
can
of this
sign
one.
that check over. It's a
I don't think
third party
you can.
roll now.
The bite
My
wound on your
balance
foot
is
starts
good.
to
It will
fester
clear it
and-
if it bounces.
Negative. It is a regular rat. I appreciate the hustle.
rats do get advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on smell? Now, if he has 3
Yes.
heads, he has 3 noses. Do I get a triple advantage on perception checks
No.
with smell
Oh,
through
come on.
Ratty?
That seems fair.
No.
That's very reasonable.
Three
No.
noses.
No.
They should each get a roll.
No. Good try, though.
Fine. Ornamental extra 2 heads to go with my rat familiar, which I did not actually realize was such a fantastic spell, by the way. So very excited.
Yeah, it's quite good. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it.
Yeah.
Are you
Awesome.
going to put
All
a
right.
collar on him?
It doesn't need a collar. No. He already is marked by the little bit of Mendax kind of flesh and blood that's kind of around his mouth. That's how we know. That and the 3 heads. Two very distinctive features.
We got an ascot for Goop. I just thought maybe you might want Ratty to feel like part of the group here, but that's fine.
Well, I could ask Master Nivix if he wants to give up another finger so we can make another ring collar type thing for him, but I don't know if it's necessary at this point. I mean, at that point, then Goop would feel left out. We'd have to get him one as well. I mean, my master's only got so many fingers left.
Really
That's
need
true.
them. Really, just the one to hold a wand. Really, you can.
Sure, let's give your rat a soul-absorbing ring. That seems fair.
All right,
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
good,
go
so
ahead.
I'll kind of just wander back and meet everyone at the end of that.
Okay, sounds good. Basically, I'll leave it up to you guys when you'd like to leave. Nivix has said that it is, obviously it's a critical matter, but at the same time, he's not like rushing you out the door immediately. But so if there's anything in particular you'd like to do besides the things you've done, let me know. If there's any questions you have or anything like that, this is definitely a good time to do so, as you'll be mainly on your own in the coming days.
I'm ready to go.
Oh,
Well fed.
before I meet everyone, I'll quickly go to my bedroom and I'll find in my little secret compartment behind the bookshelf a certain erotic wood carving, and I'll just go
I
and
knew
give.
there was porn here somewhere.
That I found of some particularly curvy forest nymphs and yes, dancing in a glade.
That's not a nymph, that's a hot elf ghost, babe.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny
God.
looking back at it, because this used to seem like the height of eroticism for a young boy, but after seeing hot elf ghost babes in the flesh, really seems like a funny keepsake. But you know what, Khaal, you've been such a brave companion and warrior. You've saved me so many times, and I want you to have this as a gesture of appreciation.
It looks very worn.
Thank you. I'm not used to receiving this kind of gift, but I guess it would be rude for me to refuse it. Thank you.
Khaal begrudgingly accepts a very awkward gift to
I
give
do
to
think you need to add
someone.
that to your equipment.
I'm not gonna backseat wizard culture or anything.
Oh, God.
This could be par for the course, for all I know.
You might want
Yeah?
to. I'm not making any accusations here, but you may want to wash that first, Khaal, before putting it in your pack.
You may want to just burn it. Okay. All right. Let me get this crazy train back on the rails. Okay. You guys are set. Nigel has given his gifts to his friends. Khaal, you have crafted some potions.
I didn't get any porn.
Well, that's not my
Rude.
fault. That's you have to take that up with Nigel.
Rude.
You could have asked Master
And-
Nivix.
He only has so many fingers.
Oh, jeez.
All right, are you guys ready to go on the quest or not?
Well, I'm well fed and well rested with a greater healing potion and a wood carving. Let's rock and roll.
Wait. did the weapons delivery come while I was asleep? That's
We're
my
meeting
only-
someone at a rendezvous point.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
gonna.
that's right.
they're gonna
That's
meet
right.
you.
You're right.
Yeah. So no worries about that. Okay. We'll say, for the sake of expediency, you guys meet up with Master Nivix again, and he gives you some basic instructions on where you're going to be meeting the Blackfoot Company. If you remember from the map, or if we have it handy and we want to pull it up, I didn't let Cobra know, so we might not have that. I'm not sure. But the Lonely Spire, which is the place you guys are located in now, is on the western edge of the continent that you guys are on. So if you go north, essentially just straight north from your position and kind of skirt around one of the mountains that's in the way, you will come to like a cove that's there, and that will be the place you'll be meeting the captain and the ship as well. So yeah, actually it's up now. So just pretty much due north until you reach it. He surmises it'll take you guys probably about 4 days maybe of travel. The conditions shouldn't be too harsh yet this time of year. And this is a very, very unpopulated section of the continent. Really, there's not much out here. Not too much in the ways of danger in the wilderness either. So it should be a pretty cruise travel.
Just to double check, we were going west along the coast around the mountain to that little cove, right?
Yep, you guys are gonna go west around the west end of the mountain. So the path that you'll be following will take you in that direction anyways. He asks if you guys have any other questions or anything else before you go. He essentially says that he's this is the best that he can offer you in such short notice, and hopefully that's enough to at least point you in the right direction and recover this essence. Yes, Khaal.
Do you have any potions?
Only the ones that you've made.
What? No, does this provisions officer have any potions? I was asking him.
Oh, he doesn't know. Wait, provisions off. Who are you talking to? You're
Are we
talking
not
to
at the
Nivix
rendezvous
right
point?
now. No, you're at Nivix. You're still in the tower. You haven't left yet.
The ale in the kitchen was good.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, no, you haven't left.
Wait, you found ale? Oh, you've been holding out.
He found
Nigel
sour
hiding
grape
porn,
juice.
you hiding ale. Mendax gets no fun times. in
Look,
the
I don't
lonely
know if it was ale, but there were a bunch of liquids in the alchemy room. I may
It
have
was like
imbibed
rubbing
something.
alcohol, basically.
forest.
Yeah, so you're having a last meetup with Nivix before you guys set underway. The courier, the person who's bringing Mendax's equipment, is going to meet you at the ship. So he will already be at the ship. So you're not gonna, basically it's just a straight shot, get to the ship, get to the crew, and then you guys can set underway to head even further north to the icy reaches of the world.
To Dagger Shelf we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oops, ouch.
All right.
Okay.
So
So we'll go ahead.
we'll say farewell. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll kind of just nod at the three of you, and I wish you the best of luck. There is quite a lot riding on this, actually. I don't know if I've imparted exactly how important it is that you are all successful, but I trust that you can see this journey and this venture to its end, and that when this is all done, we can put this business behind us and move forward. Your assistance with this will be invaluable, and while people may not even realize the task and service you've done for the world, certainly you will be known by few, at least, as those who have prevented essentially a catastrophe.
The cause is a righteous one, and we are honored to be in your service in bringing the remnants of this lich back to justice.
Very good. I will await your return. I will do my best here to contain the rest of this entity and its evil and nefarious intents.
Hold strong. I'll make you proud.
Yes, I'm sure.
Hug him. Hug him.
He'll turn me into a frog. It's not even a good... He'd be really pissed. Trust me. That was basically a loving hug and kiss. I'm probably the happiest I've ever been right now.
Very good. Well, Nigel, shut the door on your way out.
Yes, master.
And he'll go back to he kind of will go back to tending to the circle, and sort of you see magic sort of energy welling up in the palms of his hands, and he's sort of creating and sustaining this barrier that exists around the sarcophagus in order for sort of like a second containment shell, if you will. That's it. So you guys ready to travel on the road?
Yes.
Ricky, taking the lamps. Taking the lamps to Dagger Shelf. To Dagger Shelf. To Dagger Shelf. Let's go.
Fantastic. Okay. You guys are traveling for it's a fairly short journey. It's 3 to 4 days or so. You guys have plenty of provisions stocked up from the tower. You're not without food or drink in the coming nights. It turns very quickly as you're traveling from sort of a nice crisp air to starting to get very frosty. The grass and the trees sort of are taking on more of a what's the best word I can describe for it? They're kind of like dying as the winter months are approaching. And the ground when you wake up is covered in a frost. Eventually, during your travel in the day, you can start to see your breath, and you begin to adorn some of the fur clothing, sort of piece by piece. You begin to either trade out the equipment that you have on, or you sort of just put that over what you already have. Until on essentially day 3, you guys are like now fully wearing these fur clothes. So you're completely covered. You have these nice hats on, cloaks. You have essentially an undershirt, jacket, and pants as well with gloves. So you're quite warm. But if you sort of take any one of the layers off, you start to get cold very quickly. The landscape turns more into crunchy, sort of fresh fallen snow, and it is quite chilly. Mendax and Nigel, actually, you guys are used to traveling in sort of colder climates. Nigel, the Lonely Spire will see snow when it gets to sort of the deeper winter months of the year. So you're familiar with having to, light fires and sort of traveling at least small distances in this type of weather. Khaal, you're more used to the warmer sort of northeast end of the continent. You spent most of your life over there, and only recently had started traveling when you met the Wayfarers. So you're actually not entirely used to this cold weather, or this might actually even be the first time you've seen snow. If you want that to be the case, I will. You can play that out however you'd like. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have my winter feathers. It's not the winter season back at home. And even when it is, it's not this cold. It's more of a autumn, which is balmy and warm compared to this frigid place. I would like to maybe just keep moving, flap my arms a little bit, do a little dance just to keep the fire going inside.
Yeah, absolutely. You remember reading somewhere that the more active you are, the warmer you'll keep, and that seems to be helping. You guys are staying mobile on the day's trek, but it is turning more and more cold and frigid and frosty. It is slowing your travel a little bit. Let's go ahead. Each of you roll a d20.
Hey, while we're rolling, I do have a quick question for the DM.
Yeah.
With my infernal constitution and my resistance to cold damage, does that also give me just a general better adaptability to cold?
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're chilling.
Because if so, then I would like to give, maybe one of my layers to Khaal, if I can. Yeah.
You certainly are not impervious to the cold.
Right.
So you still get pretty chilly, but you surmise you will be fine without your cloak maybe. So you can hand that off to him and give him another layer if you choose to warm up and bundle up in.
Yes, I would go ahead and let him wear my cloak for a bit. If I sense any danger though, Khaal, I will ask for the cloak back because it does have some properties that I need more than you.
I think Khaal has walked off to go find it's a cloak.
Oh, I dropped the cloak. No, sorry, Khaal, that was my fault. I meant to give him the cloak and I dropped it, but he's got it now.
Now he has it. There we go. Perfect. And how warm and cozy he is. What a wonderful companion Mendax is to.
So cool.
I give the shoes off of Alleluia Jackson's feet and the cloak off my back.
Fuck this. Why is it so cold? It's like we're not even close to the sun or something. Jeez. Thank you for letting me borrow your cloak, Mendax. It's much warmer now.
I mean, I hope it does help some.
Do you think
Khaal,
we'll catch the lich pretty quick and we can go back home?
Well, let's make that our goal.
Can't hear anything with this around my ears.
Everyone roll a d20 on day 3.
I'm
I got a
impervious to
9.
cold with this.
You got a 9. How about you, Nigel?
12.
I rolled a 5. I'm still cold.
All right. Khaal, you are lagging behind slightly, as you're struggling to push forward, and how frigid the temperature is. It's quite a shock to your system. You didn't expect for it to be this freezing. But as you are sort of lingering in the back, you're looking around more and kind of just trying to distract your mind. Give me a perception roll.
I am the most perceptive of all the Kenkus. I rolled a 14 plus 4 is 18.
Okay. Give me a dexterity save.
I'm the most dexterous of all the Kenkus. Dexterity save.
Mm-hmm.
11 plus 3 is 14.
Okay. You see sort of a little twinkle that catches your eye just in the distance. And you hear the unmistakable kind of twang of a crossbow releasing a bolt. You don't move at all. You're kind of a little too cold and slow to do so, but it lands at your feet. It doesn't hit you. It lands maybe 3 or 4 feet in front of you. You hear a sort of
Easily
satisfying
dodged.
thud. Yeah. Perfect. What would you like to do? Your friends do not know. Actually, we'll go ahead and see if you guys hear that. Nigel and Mendax, give me a perception roll. And you can give one for your new rat if you want.
Mendax, Nigel, someone is sending us firewood.
I got a perception 7 plus I got an 8.
Okay, you do not hear the crossbow bolt.
I rolled a 6.
Uh-huh.
And then I turned to Ratty and I said, "Hey Ratty, how's it going?" And he said, "I got a 2." So not much help.
Yep, none of you guys hear it, but you do hear Khaal kind of yell out some weird sentence of somebody that's giving you guys firewood.
What? Fire what?
You see the bolt in the ground as you turn around.
Look at this! And I hold the bolt.
That's not firewood, Khaal. And I'm going to whip out my bow and arrow and start looking about.
Okay. Yeah, you see in the direction you were heading a figure kind of walk onto the path. He was hiding behind one of the trees. It's a human wearing all sort of, again, not a similar fur setup to what you guys have. Your clothes are very nice. He has like scrapped together pelts and sort of what might, like common people might wear if they are living in sort of more of these frigid temperatures. He has sort of a really red nose and kind of hair that's a little bit disheveled. He's pretty skinny, and he's he has like a dagger in his right hand, and he walks up to your party, and he says, "Halt, travelers! This is a robbery."
Calm down, young man. We're not gonna rob you. It's okay.
No, I'm robbing you. I'm a bandit in these parts. And he sort of kind of tries to make himself look a little bigger. Hand over your valuables.
Is this guy for real?
I would like to take
This is so adorable.
I have some old rags. I would like to take them and place them into his hand.
He kind of looks at. No, I don't want. He kind of tosses him to the ground. He's a little frustrated. I have a knife, man. Take me seriously. I might do something here. Quick, be hasty with the coin, or
I think he's going to hurt himself.
I'll make you regret it.
Put That's a sharp knife. Man, you might want to put that away. You're going to cut yourself.
Yeah, it is sharp. I bet you're terrified.
Young man, hold on for one moment. Do you realize who you're addressing? This here is Kenku the Great, the lord of all strength competitions in all of Tol Karabat, a man who single-handedly beat 2 ogres in an arm wrestle simultaneously. And you dare to threaten him with a robbery? You should be lucky to leave here with your life.
He'll kind of shift his eyes over towards Khaal. He kind of looks a little bit uneasy. Oh, okay. He can have his stuff, but you two, you're being robbed.
Can I?
He's good though.
It's the snow around us, right?
Yeah, it's all snow. It's pretty packed in as well.
Can I pack a snowball and throw it at his face?
Yeah, sure.
I would like
Damn it.
to pack a snowball and throw it at his face.
You can take their belongings, as long as I get to drink some of your blood.
Are you doing an intimidation roll?
Yes.
Okay.
14 plus 1 is 15.
Yeah, he is extremely intimidated. He kind of staggers back from hearing the voice of what seems to be some kind of demonic creature, and then gets hit in the face with a snowball and sort of falls all the way back. His dagger sort of flies out of his hand and in the road behind him, and he kind of, oh, geez, Louise, Mister, and he kind of is looking around, and he crawls towards his dagger.
Would you like me to take some blood from your leg or one of your arms?
I don't know about all this talk about blood, and I don't like the sight of blood, to be honest with you, but I'm just trying to rob you, man. I'm not trying to kill you guys. There's no... Do you have like a few gold coins or anything? Like,
Do you have a
I
few
have this
drops of
nice
blood?
dagger I'll trade you.
I have a spoon, but it's not really up for grabs. I'm not really looking to give it away.
Oh, well, dang, that is a nice spoon. You get the absolute sense that this guy has zero idea what he's doing. He's never successfully robbed anyone in his life. And he looks like he's just a scared, somewhat malnourished, random person who lives out in the woods.
I'd like to give him a piece of bread.
He'll
I don't
kind of... He's very scared of Khaal now. If he has to approach you, he probably is not going to do it.
I'll step forward. Easy there, young man. Here. We don't have much coin to spare, unless you could give us some good services, but here. I'm happy to share some of our nourishment.
Oh, well, gee. I don't know. I mean, you could tell his mouth is watering a little bit. He probably hasn't eaten for a while. I mean, well, you sure I can have that? And he kind of, his dagger is more like just being held in his hand to the side.
Just a little blood.
I don't like him.
Maybe from the shoulder. Not the neck, because then you'll die.
Why are you traveling with such a horrible creature?
But he's not trying to rob anyone, is he? Some might think you're a horrible creature, not for trying to rob people, but for doing it so poorly.
Well,
What's your
I
name?
mean- And he'll take the bread and he'll kind of just put the dagger back in his belt, and he looks very defeated, and he just tears a piece off and kind of takes a bite. My name's Timothy.
Meet you, Timothy. I'll have you know, he's drank blood for far less, and I've stolen shoes for far less than that. So what brings you to this road, and why are you trying to very, very shittily rob people?
I know I'm not a very good bandit. I'm really trying my best. There's really nothing else I can do out here in order to make a living. It's so hard these days. I got kicked out of my last bandit squad. They didn't like me very much, and he'll like kick a little bit of snow. Kind of like just down in the dumps.
You the one doing the smelly farts in the group?
No, they said I wasn't scary enough or tough enough to be in their bandit group, and people were laughing at them, so they kicked me out and they abandoned me here. Now I don't know where to go or what to do. I only know how to be a bandit. I don't even know how to do that very good.
Couldn't you do something that was more law-abiding, like be a guard or something?
Have you ever tried to be a guard, man? It's hard. They don't let everybody do that, and I got a record. They'll never let me be a bandit. I mean, I've never done anything wrong, but, like, you know, I got arrested with the group of those guys last time.
Just a lot of accessory charges.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of maybe being like a gardener or an actor?
I mean, no. Do you think I'd be good at acting?
No, honestly, no, but that's never stopped many actors from being very successful, so I don't think that's really a hurdle you have to worry about jumping over.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be very good at it either. Well, dang, man. He'll kind of just sit in the snow. He's just sad. Oh,
Well,
I'll never
you
be
know-
a good bandit.
There's opportunities for everybody, Timothy, and I myself have grown from a young, naive person to someone who is quite utilitarian about things which I once was sentimental. And I think that with my newfound knowledge of the world, everybody has something they could thrive at. And you probably never did much schooling or reading, but have you perhaps heard of distraction? It's a very good up-and-coming career, and we could use one.
What's distraction? What does that mean?
Well, the distraction is a very valued member of the party who basically their job is to simply come along with us and become a very important part of the group, to be accepted, to share our food, our victuals. And when the time comes, they simply need to follow our orders. And potentially, we don't ask them to fight, but simply to attract attention and then run away very quickly.
You guys want me to join your gang? Was I really that scary? You guys think I could really be a bandit like you guys?
We're not bandits.
are not bandits. Don't
We're
say that again or
badasses.
I'll eat all of you.
Some of us may have an illustrious career in domestic foraging, but that is not the same thing.
Well, if you're not bandits, then what are you doing? Who are you?
We are here on a special missive that is labeled none of your goddamn business.
What he said.
He's very mean.
You're a bit of a puss.
You're
What else?
delaying us in the
Yeah.
middle of an important mission.
I know, and he's kind of like drawing in the snow with his finger. I know, I don't have anyone else to talk to.
Where do you come from?
What did you say?
I said, where do you come from?
Well, I was born in Edenholm. And it's like one of the capital human cities of the continent. But I didn't have any prospects. I mean, my family wasn't rich or anything. We lived in the slums. So I had to take to a life of being a bandit. It's pretty much my only option. I didn't have any schooling or trade or anything. That's too expensive. So I've just been a bandit all my life. It's all I know. I'm not even a very good one.
At least you're cognizant of that.
Son, it sounds to me like you could use a little bit of what we call back home work ethic. Many people have started off with fuck all. They got a poor lot in life with a poor family, and maybe not the best circumstances overall. However, with a bit of drive and focus on improving one's station, you can make a better world for yourself. But it's gonna take sweat and a little bit of discomfort, and you have to figure shit out as you go. What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? Do you just want to survive? Or do you want to live life a certain way?
Well, I mean, surviving sure sounds pretty nice. I wasn't even sure if that was going to be in the cards, to be honest with you. No one's ever
Likely
asked what
isn't.
I wanted to be. I've never thought about it, really.
Well, now's your chance. Because the next time you cross a group of 3, they may not be so gracious and spare your blood, tasty as it may be.
Not that we've guaranteed to spare it yet, because I'm still on the fence.
Well, I guess if I had a choice, I'd really like... No, that's stupid.
Spit it out.
Well, I always thought I had a really good eye for fashion. I've always wanted to design really nice looking clothes. But I don't know how to do that.
Maybe you could find a nice person who could teach you.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But I don't have any money to pay them. And people don't do things for free.
What type of clothes are you most interested in designing, Timothy?
Well, I really like hats.
The wrong end of the body, honestly.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I haven't tried it yet. It just sounds like it'd be kind of cool.
Have you made anything of your own? Are you wearing any of your own work now? Have you made any alterations to any of the clothing that you've worn so far, or any of the clothing to the former bandits with which you traveled?
Well, I mean, and he'll kind of like stand up again and brush the snow off his clothes. I mean, I stitched this together. I didn't have the best, materials, and I did it out of essentially sticks and twine, but I made this. I thought it was pretty good.
Spin?
And it's like, yeah, he'll kind of do a spin, like a little, like a pretty, like he's been practicing a spin a little bit.
Sashay that way, and then back.
And he'll kind of, yeah, he'll do a bit of a strut, but not like crazy over the top. I mean, I think it's pretty good. What do you think?
Not bad for the material that you had to work with. I'm not going to say that right now it's incredibly forward thinking, but I can see a bit of a voice there.
You really think so?
I do think so. I think you'd have better luck with that than you would with banditry.
Well, I mean, I don't like being a bandit. But I mean, I have to eat, I have to survive. I don't know what else to do. I've just been kind of trying to pursue, fashion on the side of bloodthirsty murdering and robbery.
Have you killed people?
Me? No. They just told me to say that in case anyone asked.
What's the worst thing you've ever done, Timothy?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure once I didn't leave a very good tip for an inn that I was in.
They have a special hell for people who do that.
Absolutely. How fucking dare you, Timothy, you piece of shit.
Right to dorgatory with you.
I know I'm pretty evil. There's no redemption for me.
Look, kid.
It's bandit's life or nothing.
Look, if you want to rise even to the mediocre level at anything, you need to ask for help from people who know what they're doing. Look at me. I'm a journeyman alchemist. I've made at least 4 potions, and I mess it up most of the time. I had 8 hours to craft in the most exquisite alchemical laboratory in the continent, and I could only make 1 potion. But the point is, I put in the work and I got something out of it. If you want to do this embroidery shit, you need to find a nice old person who's doing some embroidering in some town. What the hell else are they gonna do? Just ask, could I help you in some way? And you could teach me how to do this. It's simple.
Wow. I've never thought about it before, but maybe you're right.
Timothy.
Maybe. Oh, yeah.
No, you go ahead. No, finish your epiphany.
Just gonna say maybe I don't have to rob you guys.
Well, I don't think robbing us was actually on the table for you. Timothy, I can give you 10 gold, and that should be enough to get you back to the nearest town. Was it Lake Town? Is that the one closest to the spire?
No. That's fucking
That's
very
way far away. What's the name of the town closest to the spire, Nigel?
Grimsby.
Grimsby.
I will give you 10 gold, and that should be enough to get you to Grimsby, to help you hire yourself out to somebody as an apprentice tailor, to learn the art of tailoring, of construction, and of fashion. And when we come back from our quest, I will expect a very fine pair of shoes and pants as return on my investment. Do we have a deal, Timothy? If you say no, please know that I will take the shoes and pants you're wearing now and leave you with nothing.
Wow.
And I'll take
10
a bit of blood.
gold? Why do you travel with him?
It's okay.
What?
10 whole gold.
I only drink the blood of bandits. They're fine.
Oh, dang it.
Oh,
Well, that's me.
You know what? I've spent 10 gold, more than 10 gold in one night in a tavern on this quest. Multiple times. For things that I don't
Gee.
even remember. This could change someone's life, and I could also get a very nice pair of shoes and pants out of it.
Well, yeah, I think I will do that. Gee, you're so nice. Thank you so much. I promise I'll be a hit, and I'll be known all over the land for how awesome my designs are. You won't regret it, I swear.
I better not, because if I come back to Grimsby after this quest, and I find that you are not known there, and that no one's ever seen you, then I will hunt you down. And the last thing you will see in this world is my face as I slit your throat and pour your blood into my flagon for my friend to drink at his leisure. Do you fucking understand me?
Okay, roll a bluff or intimidation.
I would like to just look at Nigel as she's doing this and give like a silent whoa.
I got a 14 plus 2. So 16.
Yeah, you guys, you're sure you're not bandits? You talk like just like my old group, like for real. It's uncanny. You bet. I'll make good on my promise. I swear. That 10 gold. It's not gonna go to waste. It's gonna fund my dreams, and I'm gonna make it happen. The day of Timothy has arrived.
Also, you're going to need a better name if you're going to be a fashion designer. Just throwing that out there.
What about
You know-
Timsky?
Oh,
Timsky's
Timsky
very
sounds
nice.
kind of cool.
Timsky's very
Yeah.
nice.
Timsky's tailoring. The finest of the tailoring peoples.
Timsky's Tailoring. Yeah, I think that's good. A new name and a new me. This is the beginning of Timsky, the tailor. No more are the days of Timothy the bandit. However infamous he may be, that man is dead. Now it is Timsky, the hat maker.
I think it's just
Also,
Hatter.
at least one pair of shoes and pants. Don't forget.
Or, yeah, or that. I mean, I'll figure it out. I don't know yet.
Time.
Yeah. Well, gee, thanks again. You guys have a nice day. And he'll take the gold if you give it to him, and he'll walk away.
I think he just
Honestly,
robbed us 10 gold.
That's
Oh, gave him the 10 gold. We obviously didn't need to. This is the Mendax Foundation for wayward shit bandits.
So you're saying that you've sponsored a tailoring business?
There you go. You've
Basically,
invested.
I've just invested into that. I'm getting it on the ground floor of Timsky Tailoring.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I think I've spent far more money on far worse things, and I'm very surprised that either of you are judging me for this, especially when Nigel was trying to convince him to journey with us so that we could get him killed later on. And I'm the one that is getting the judgy eyes right now.
I
This
didn't
is
want
why
him to
I
get
just-
killed. I just wanted him to get chased for a while, and then he'd be out in the wilderness on his own again. We wouldn't bother finding him, and we'd continue with our quest, hopefully with a few ogres or trolls less that we have to fight. Honestly, I don't know what the hell we just encountered, because, I mean, the memories are vague. I was very young when Master Nivix picked me up, but I did live on the streets for a time as a young boy, and I'll tell you what, a boy like that couldn't survive on the streets for 1 week, let alone years. I don't know how the hell he's still alive. He'd be eaten alive by the other street children, the beggars, the thieves, those down by the docks. It's absolutely wild to me that he's done it. I mean, funnily enough, he seems to actually be thriving out here in the frozen, bloody wilderness, hoping that people think he's so bloody sad that he's going to give them some food or some gold. And I'm not sure. At least I'm sure he'll be able to feed himself for a few more nights with that money, but I wouldn't expect much of a return on that investment, Mendax.
I'm incredibly petty, and if we come back and he's not in Grimsby, I will find him, because I don't think that he'll actually go very far if this seems to be working for him. I will find him again, and I will slit his throat. A deal is a deal, and I meant what I said.
I was being threatening to him, but he seems a little bit too boring to kill.
Oh, no one's too boring to kill. You just got to get creative.
He's not even a good outlaw. At first, I was all rustled that someone who was a criminal was going to threaten us, and, you know, we're kind of badasses at this point. So I was feeling all heated up, and then it turns out he doesn't even know what the fuck he's doing with his life. And then I just felt bad.
From bandit to bandit for warmth out here. The poor kid. Just give him the gold, let him go on his way. Hopefully he makes something of himself. And if not,
Yeah.
I'll kill him later, if not.
Yeah, either get famous or be killed. He's at a crossroads.
The goal is just to try. If I go to Grimsby and they say, yes, Timothy was here and he was a shit tailor and we kicked him out, fair enough. No retribution. If I go to Grimsby and they say, we've never heard of this Timothy, don't know him, then we have a problem.
Be famous, be infamous, or be killed. Got it.
Yes. Basically. Also, I'm definitely going to want pants and shoes no matter what. I'm going to get them one way or another, whether he designed and made them or whether I take them off his corpse.
None
That's
can
fair.
keep their pants and shoes from Mendax. It is futile.
No, and I think it's quite nice of me to delay that so that he doesn't get frostbite now. I feel like that's growth as a person. It's a bit of maturity on my part.
Yeah.
He gets to keep all of his toes for now. And I had them gold to spare, to be honest. I still have 574 gold.
That's flexing.
Oddly specific. It's almost like you count it every day.
Oh, I roll in it before I go to sleep at night. Yeah,
Okay.
just like that.
So the
And that's
ruthless
Not
encounter
even
with
the weirdest
bandit.
thing that's been kept next to someone's bed in this campaign. We've all seen your wood carving now.
And I'm proud of it. It's part of my history and my life's fabric.
It's a pretty good carving.
I'm sure it had far more detail before he had his hands all over it. Worn a bit thin at parts. We can tell which ones Nigel prefers there.
Jesus.
Bit of an arse, man.
It's not braille. I don't need to touch it in order to look at it.
No, you don't need to. And yet it seems fairly worn.
Good God, dude.
I'm feeling extra warm with this other cloak on.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Tim
we knew
Ski
we
has
were,
walked
we were
away.
we knew we were delving into the dark past, but going back to my childhood. But enough about my my private growing up ordeals. Let's move on, shall we?
Chad,
Also,
you can't see it, but
could you
Cobra.
have sound
Cobra
any
is
creepier?
fucking dying.
Couldn't you have sounded any creepier to Timothy? This poor kid shaking in his boots in the snow. There were once things that I found utilitarian, but now I find there's some use for them. Would you like to come with us, little?
We were
Poor
going to
Timothy.
feed him. It was in the grand picture. It was going to keep him alive longer than he would have survived out here on his own anyway.
Well,
It was utilitarian
Basically the child catcher.
humanitarianism.
Child catcher.
I just had a brief, like,
From
freeze
Chitty
moment.
Bang Bang.
Carl just had a brief freeze in his mind of, are we the bad guys?
Are we the baddies? Wait. No, never mind. Poor Tim. Yes, we'll see what happens of him when we come back. I will remember to ask of Tim.
Timsky's
Timsky.
Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You guys had a ruthless encounter with a terrifying bandit. But beyond that, your travels in the sort of now becoming frozen north are fairly uneventful. There's not really any wilderness out. It's all either hiding away or hibernating. And the only other living soul you've seen in the meantime has been Timothy, aka Timsky the Tailor. Yeah, I mean, basically, you guys continue on at the midday of day 4. You set eyes on a ship in the distance. No doubt the vessel that will ferry you guys to Dagger Shelf. And honestly, that seems to be a pretty good stopping point for this week's session. Ended on Timsky the Tailor.
Very good. I like the sort of the
Perfect
beginning of a
ending.
new chapter phase where we do a lot of fucking about. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's very unusual for us.
Hey,
I know.
Pontos
I
is-
prepared 3 pages of stuff for today's work. I think I got through 4 sentences today, so pretty good. Pretty good, guys. Nice. But hey, that just means I'm ready for not next week, but the following.
Yeah.
No, it's perfect. I have said it before, and I will say it again. I love the improv and the freeness of the group to do whatever the heck they want to. So I had a lot of fun this session. Awesome to be back, and I think unless there's anything else, there's another session in 2 weeks from now.
I guess on a random note, harking back to our Halloween special, I would advise everybody out there to Google image Gary Busey tree, because there is a really friggin' weird picture up of his face that's been photoshopped on a tree, and I think everybody should see it.
There is. Why is
Oh
this
my
happening?
god!
Why is this a thing?
Mendax didn't get her
That is-
birthday roll.
That is exactly. Oh, she didn't. We'll save it for next time, I guess.
Okay, yay! Okay, we'll save it for next time.
Why does
Oh
this
my God.
exist?
Mendax is just gonna carry this birthday roll until some epic boss fight in the key moment and then throw it.
Boss battle. Critting it right in his beauty tree. Oh my god, the beauty
God,
tree.
that is horrifying and exactly what that tree looked like. How did you find this? What did you do, Pig?
I just googled it. I wondered if anybody had ever, for some reason, thought of him being a tree before.
Why does this exist? When was this posted? This was in 2016. This was
See
5
why
years
I was
ago.
so anti this tree. It's so disgusting.
Oh my god.
They even left a hair on it.
Oh, holy shit.
Good god.
That's actually a minor character in one of the episodes.
It is. It is. Why? Oh my
On
god.
the, on the image search, though, the thumbnail for Nero's for the YouTube video for that episode is like the fourth.
It is. It's literally 2 away from the Gary Busey tree. And it's a tree called Gary Busey. Oh my god.
I'm glad that wasn't the wood carving Nigel gave me.
I'm also glad that wasn't my birthday cake because there was a sincere possibility that it could have been it.
Oh, holy shit. That is absolutely insane. Thank you, Pig, for infesting the nightmares of probably every person here.
And once again, big happy birthday to Mendax, Ash.
Yes,
That is the most beautiful cake I've ever seen. Holy shit.
yes, it is. It's up
amazing.
now.
With the half naked Alleluia Jackson face down in the ice.
Yes. It's awesome. I love it. I love it so much. He did such a great job.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Destroy it.
thank you so much for tuning in and enriching our lives with your contributions in the chat. That is one of the most entertaining parts of the show, is the different shit that you have to say. So, not next week, but the Thursday after that, 9 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be back with episode 23 of Wayfarers. Stay safe, everyone, and remember, if you're an amateur bandit, you should probably try life as a tailor instead.